In this video, I'll tell you what to pay attention to so your video looks professional. Let me show you what I've prepared for you. The first thing I'd like to start with is the intro. By the way, I've never heard anyone talk about the importance of the intro from the perspective of video editing. But in reality, the intro is the most important part of the video. After all, let's agree. Without a good introduction to what the video is about, without clear context, you wouldn't want to watch it because nothing grabs your attention, and you don't understand why you should waste your time on it. The intro gives viewers clarity about what they expect inside, what the specific video is about. If it doesn't grab their attention, the watch time will be low and consequently, you can expect many views. The intro is as crucial as it gets because it gives the content creator a chance to engage the audience in the first 30 seconds. If you haven't captured their interest in those first few seconds, hoping they'll continue watching is just foolish. Even YouTube itself highlights the first 30 seconds as the most important. Often, after watching for 30 seconds, a viewer doesn't want to click away unless you ruin the impression later on. If 40% of viewers stick around after 30 seconds, it's likely that around 20% will watch until the end. There are exceptions, but generally, that's how it works. The key to the intro is to provide a clear understanding of the essence of the video. So, I hope you understand why the intro is important. But how do you make it engaging? To put it simply, the intro and context of the entire video should be aligned with its title. Let me give you an example for clarity. Take my example, a video about smooth camera movement in After Effects. The title and thumbnail are completely aligned and give a clear understanding of what the video is about. Right? And if someone needs to watch a video on that topic, they'll click because the essence is clear. But if I made a mistake in the intro, I would ruin the entire video right from the start. Let me show you the intro for reference and we'll break down why I did everything right. You asked me, I'm doing it. How to make smooth camera movements in After Effects without using the camera at all. As you just heard, I immediately point out that the video was requested by people and they noted that I do it well. You understand, right? I'm telling the viewer that this topic is in demand and backing it up with comments. Then I completely restate the title that made them click on the video. In other words, I reinforced what I mentioned in the title and what was written on the thumbnail. Now, listen carefully. To make the intro great, you need to exceed the viewer's expectations. Let me explain what I mean. I assume the viewer had a certain thought about the video. They were probably thinking that I would explain how to create graphics on a layer with a camera to make the animation smooth. And that thought likely formed because they have watched similar videos with a similar title and have seen and heard just that. But here, I say that I will show them how to create a 3D camera effect without a 3D camera. So I hope you understand that the thought was one thing, but I'm telling them that I'll show them a new way to create this effect that they didn't know about. In fact, they were already interested in how to do it, and I'm also offering them an easier and faster option that gives the same effect. This way, I exceeded their expectations. And now I'll tell you about a few more nuances. If something unusual happens at the start, something that can capture attention, the viewer will give you that attention. Many say that the intro should be dynamic and fast, but that's somewhat a misleading thought. Let me explain why. There's one question that completely flips the understanding of what kind of content needs to be filmed and how to edit it. I hope you know that everything fast is currently attracting attention. Fast content is at the peak of use and grabs immense attention. Many people have developed ADHD, which is why short content is in demand and gain millions of views. But there's one nuance. The type of content completely depends on the audience you want to attract. If the goal is to attract a young audience, for example in the age range of 15 to 25, then the focus should be on fast content. Naturally, the intro should also be in that same style. I call it FAVE, which stands for Fast Action for Viewer Engagement. Sometimes this style suits people over 25, but that's already an exception to the rule. Generally, older audiences are attracted to slower content because the older generation's characteristics and their perception of the internet as a whole, it's much easier for them to grasp something that resembles how they used to absorb information. A 50-year-old person, I believe, consumed information from books, spending a lot of time understanding a particular topic more deeply. In books, topics are explained for a long time and with various words, unlike how it's done now on social media. That's why before editing a video, ask yourself or client what audience needs to be attracted. The approach to creating the video, and the intro in particular, changes dramatically because of the one factor: the age of the audience. So I've come to the point that it's important what you say in the intro and how well it matches the thumbnail, title, and the viewer's expectations. If you don't meet their expectations, you've lost the viewer. If you do meet them, you've gained their attention. If you exceed their expectations, you've captured their full attention from start to finish. There are many exceptions and factors in general that influence how long a viewer watches a video. I've always been amazed at how it can be said that video editing determines how many views a video gets, which is why proof of good editing skills has turned into showcasing results of video on YouTube. But that's simply not true. Just think about it. When you watch a video, a lot can happen. You might get a call, remember something important, get distracted, not like the appearance, voice, film quality, or something else. And it's precisely this that becomes the reason you didn't watch the video, not the editing quality. Often it's not due to poor editing. Editing is certainly important, but not in terms of animation and effects, but at the level of basic skills, which, by the way, not everyone possesses. And I still often notice similarly obvious mistakes that ruin the impression of the video so much that I just turn it off and lose the desire to continue watching. The next step to making a video that looks expensive is cutting the video. As you understand, this is a very basic step, but unfortunately, 90% of editors either don't understand this or don't want to understand it. They just cut the video using automated programs, plugins, or websites. They simply cut out unnecessary moments, but they don't pay attention to the person in the frame. This could be themselves, in which case it doesn't matter how they make the video, but if they are making a video for a client, then they can edit it that way. When editing a video, you need to feel the flow of the person, if you know what I mean. You just have to understand how the person speaks, their intonation, and the mood they are conveying. I'll explain to you why it's so important to cut the video with thought about why and how you are doing it. This is rather a deep topic that you won't be able to grasp it on the fly, so I ask you to listen and get the essence to understand what I'm trying to convey. Let's take me as an example. I'm a calm person who speaks calmly and tries to convey the same sense of calm and confidence in my video. Imagine what will happen if an editor starts cutting it as if I'm thinking and speaking very quickly. They add energy to me through dynamic editing. If they don't leave small pauses at the end and make the cut super dynamic, how will I appear in the video? How well did the video editor convey my inner feeling? What impression and what emotions will I ultimately convey in my video? I hope you understand what I mean. Everything should harmonize. How I speak, the cuts, the music, and so on. Not only the intro with the title and thumbnail, but also the narrative style and editing as a whole. For variety, you can add fades if it's appropriate, make the cut so that it's not just one clip followed by another, by apply techniques like J-cut, L-cut, or match cut. All of these add variety without straying from the overall style. If I were to give general advice, I would say, everything in video editing should be relevant. If a joke during filming was funny but not relevant, cut it out. If you added something to the video, make sure it looks organic against the backdrop of the whole video. There's no need to make something up. The basics are called that for a reason. They should be executed consistently. And I don't mean that you need to cut always the same way. If you applied the L-cut technique once, there's no need to apply only the technique at the junction of every clip. Just make a simple cut or crop on the next clip. It's simple but doesn't get boring quickly. These techniques are applied just for variety of the video, not on the permanent basis like basic cuts. Do you understand? Now it's time to talk about an underrated element in video, sound. And I'm not talking about sound design, but specifically about sound quality. To be more precise, I'm referring to the quality of the recorded voice. I hope you understand why this is so important and what quality sound is. A good example is any popular podcast. Yes, sometimes there's white noise, which is normal, but it can be removed in post-production. I won't generalize all content because podcasts are one thing and videos recorded outside are another, but right now I'm talking about the format of a talking head that everyone is familiar with. Typically, these videos are shot at home or in a studio, so the quality should be good, but often it's not. Many videos, even with expensive equipment, are edited with terrible sound. I understand that when watching on a phone, the sound might not seem bad, but many people use headphones that pick up all that noise and reverberation in the room. This greatly ruins the impression of the video. No one needs your high-quality video or great motion design if you can't be listened to. Of course, as an example, I'll talk about myself. I consider my sound quality to be excellent, and I can confidently compare it to professional quality, even though I don't consider myself a professional in sound editing. By the way, leave a comment about what you think of my sound quality. So, my example, as I see it, is ideal because many top YouTubers buy microphone setups and audio interfaces for hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars, only to have sound in some videos worse than mine with a $60 microphone. Yes, I've been using this microphone to record my videos for the last 8 months. Of course, it's not as cool and easy as I would like, but the final result sounds just magnificent. It's all about the post-production, which is not difficult to do and can be done by anyone, but not everyone knows what I know to edit like I do. The space where you record plays just as important a role as the equipment. In fact, it might even be a more important factor than the equipment itself. If the space is large, it means there's a lot of echo and reverberation, which is instantly ruins sound quality. In that case, no post-production will save your sound. Therefore, it's crucial to ensure that the space where you record sound has as many objects as possible to absorb that echo. In this video, I dive deep into all these topics, but right now I'm only talking about the importance of all this in video. In future videos, I'll explain in detail how to apply all of this in your videos. So subscribe to learn more about video editing in depth. Now I'll talk about what I consider to be fairly objective matter: color. It's objective because there are aspects of colors and color correction that most people like, and since most people's opinions are objective, that's what matters. Anyway, that's not the point. Color, like what we discussed before, is a very important step in making your videos look expensive and professional. If you didn't know, most unedited videos look something like this. When filming with expensive cameras, the colors are captured in very muted tones, which are later made more vibrant for a realistic image during the actual video editing stage. There are two categories of color processing: basic and advanced. The basic categories include settings such as exposure, white balance, tint, contrast, and similar adjustments. These set the fundamental settings for light and color. The advanced categories include tools like wheels, sharpness, noise, curves, and so on. There can be many variations of settings. Many people also use LUTs. To put it briefly, LUTs are color presets that allow you to color grade your video with one click. You can then adjust these settings, but it's mainly done to avoid having to set everything up from scratch each time, provided that the location and lighting are consistent. In other cases, the approach to color correction should be tailored individually for each video. Personally, I individually adjust the colors in each of my new videos. This video is an exception to the rule because of its format. Overall, I advocate for an individual approach to each video. I'm against presets and uniform effects, but there's a factor like editing speed or deadlines that may prevent you from meticulously adjusting colors, effects, and animations. You have to find a way out and use presets. Using presets doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, as there are various presets available. For instance, I have my own presets that I use in After Effects for certain manipulations that I perform consistently from project to project. There aren't many of them because I've only set up the most essential and frequently used ones, but this makes them very high quality. They are tailored specifically by me for my needs and tasks. I also haven't mentioned why it's so important to know how to work with color, at least at a basic level. The thing is, you convey the atmosphere of a video through color and light. You can change the light significantly in post-production, but you can definitely play around with colors. I may reveal a secret to you, but warm colors create a cozy atmosphere in video, while overly low saturation makes the video look dull and gloomy. There are many examples of how a specific atmosphere is created in movies or YouTube videos and how this is achieved, but I won't delve into those details in this video. The main rule I can highlight for a better understanding of color correction is to make the image as close to reality as possible. If a video could realistically look that way and all the colors are displayed realistically, then your color correction is at least not terrible. Of course, you need to evaluate each case individually, and it's hard to say something that will make color correction perfect for you, but I hope this rule helps make working with colors easier. Oh, and a few more clarifications. White should be white, not yellowish or bluish. If black is too black, that's also a problem. The same applies to white. If the light is blinding, you need to make it less bright. Let's move on to the details. By details, I mean text, video, GIFs, and similar overlay elements on top of the main video. The main video is called A-roll, while the secondary video is B-roll. You've probably heard about this, but just in case, I'll explain what it is. For example, you're filming a YouTube video featuring your face. Whether you're just a creator or a business owner, doesn't matter. Everyone has different goals, but the format is roughly the same. What you filmed with your camera, where you talk about something, is called A-roll. This serves as the main source of visual and audio information. B-roll, as I mentioned, is the secondary footage used when you need to visually show what you or someone else in the frame is talking about. It's pretty straightforward. There are other ways to illustrate what you are discussing, like creating an animation, but that's a more advanced level. And don't think that you can watch a few videos on animation and become a great editor. No, animation won't save your poor video just because you made it and it should grab attention. There are a few more details that truly make your videos look more expensive and better than just beautiful animations. What attracts people isn't just beauty, it's usefulness. If your information is useless and can be applied, then your video is of no value to anyone. Of course, this assumes that the essence of your video isn't teaching or conveying information for clients or viewers. If it's not useful content but just something nice to look at, like a show reel, then yes, you need to focus solely on aesthetics. But in my case, and in most cases, the beauty of your animation doesn't fundamentally change anything. From the perspective of website design, it works the same way. If a website doesn't sell and has zero conversion rates, then the site is of no use to anyone, even if it's beautiful. It's crucial to understand this if you want to create videos that are expensive and effective for clients, whether they're businesses or individual clients. Even if you didn't just watch a video, but also repeated everything shown in it, that won't teach you to animate as a whole. It requires practice. Honestly, I don't consider myself a professional animator or motion designer, even though I have extensive experience and many skills. If I need to replicate what someone else has done, I can do it. I've already demonstrated this on my channel and created 4 animations. One of the videos received a funny comment saying that I did it better than the original. Thank you for that. So adding details doesn't seem like too complicated a task, until I show you how you could improve it. I don't mean to imply that adding details is a complex process. I just want to point out that coming up with how to present it well can be challenging. I've already developed a style that makes it easy for me to do this. Of course, without my experience, it would be tough, but the fact is that adding elements shouldn't be mindless either. Let me just move on to the next step that makes a video look expensive in the eyes of the viewer. As strange as it may sound, is music. Yes, it's that simple. I mean, adding music is simple, but choosing the right track takes a lot of time. To help you understand how much music influences the perception of a video, I'll show you 2 examples, one with music and one without. You can then decide for yourself whether I know what I'm talking about and how significantly music affects what you feel while watching the same video clip. Do you think that to edit like a pro, you need expensive equipment and complicated software? Now, forget about it. The truth is, it doesn't matter what you work on, whether it's your phone, a PC, or top software. The most important thing is to following the right path. Video editing isn't just about cutting out the necessary parts. It's an art of presenting information in a way that grabs the viewer's attention from the first Second, I know how it feels. You put tons of time into a project, think you've done everything perfectly, but the result doesn't meet your expectations. Often, it's not about the editing itself, but because the video doesn't grab attention. I've created a strategy with 8 simple steps that will help you avoid these mistakes and start making videos that catch the viewer's interest within the first 30 days. Do you think that to edit like a pro, you need expensive equipment and complicated software? Now, forget about it. The truth is, it doesn't matter what you work on, whether it's your phone, a PC, or top software. The most important thing is to following the right path. Video editing isn't just about cutting out the necessary parts. It's an art of presenting information in a way that grabs the viewer's attention from the first second. I know how it feels. You put tons of time into a project, think you've done everything perfectly, but the result doesn't meet your expectations. Often, it's not about the editing itself, but because the video doesn't grab attention. I've created a strategy with 8 simple steps that will help you avoid these mistakes and start making videos that catch the viewer's interest within the first 30 days. And that's just the beginning. Understand one thing. No matter how many tutorials you watch on cool animations, how many tips from famous bloggers you learn, it won't be enough to keep the viewer's attention. I hope my efforts aren't in vain and you appreciate how music adds the right atmosphere to the video. I hope you feel the same excitement I do every time I add music to the audio track. We haven't even moved on to the next step, and I already want to talk about it so you can understand how it further improves the video and makes it more atmospheric. But let's wrap up with music and the roles of its application to make the video feel more premium. Using music is actually simple, but let's figure out what kind of music to use. I remind you that there's a question that will help you answer my question about choosing music. What audience do you want to attract? This question, like with video editing and intros, will also give you an answer to this question. The perception of the video by a younger audience will be better if you add something dynamic that excited them from within, making their eyes light up with the music. For an older audience, such music may also work, but softer music that just breaks the silence is better than an intense track in the background. You can even skip the music entirely, which could positively impact both audiences. Using music from the 2015 style would also be inappropriate. What was popular back then might not be relevant today. Personally, I prefer instrumentals, like violin and piano in my videos. For this, I've created a huge music pack that pulls tracks that truly work well. I have tested track as well as some that I haven't used yet, but these packs make my job much easier. I constantly pull music from it and I don't have to search for what I need again because there's a wide selection of good music, though I updated it sometimes to stay more current. Applying music is very simple. There's a straightforward rule that always works. Make the music 15 to 20 decibels quieter than the speaker's voice. If you don't delve into the details, this rule will help you always get it right. If you go a bit deeper, I'll say there are different frequencies in music, so one track may sound significantly quieter, while other can overpower the voice at the same volume. That's also something to consider. In other words, don't rely solely on the equalizer. Use your ears too. Just understand that music is the background for the atmosphere in the video, and it shouldn't interfere with the information being conveyed. If the music is clearly audible and doesn't require you to listen closely, and the person's voice in the frame is heard perfectly, then that's the ideal balance. If you adjust it this way, it won't matter what the music's volume is, as long as it doesn't interfere with listening to the information in the video. I've been waiting to share the final step, but it's definitely not the least important one. This step complements the entire picture and like the icing on the cake of the whole video. This step is sound effects. Yes, they will enhance the music and make the entire atmosphere even richer. They don't need necessarily to be paired with music. Sometimes adding sound effects alone is enough, and you can skip the music entirely. I can't help but mention that I've created a huge pack for this as well, so I don't have to search for sounds. There are standard sounds like whooshes, rises, hits, and the like, as well as popular sounds and memes. Yes, I spent about 30 hours on this, but it made my work so much easier that without this pack, I would have wasted several hours each time just searching for the sounds I needed. I already have sounds that I use regularly, and they add a bit of individuality to my style. Essentially saying, yes, I edited this. Sound effects are needed for several purposes, but I'll discuss that in one of the next videos. The application of sounds is very simple. I wouldn't want to give you a universal tip because universal tips are often poor and not truly universal. However, I will give you one that will often work. My advice: make the sounds just a little louder than the music. This will allow you them to be heard because the music won't drown them out and they won't interfere with the voice. When I say a little louder, I mean that you shouldn't perceive them audibly. You may have music at -20 decibels and a sound at -3, but that doesn't mean the sound will be too loud. Do you understand? I would also like to mention one detail that no one talks about. Don't cut sounds abruptly. Literally, when a sound is cut off before it finishes, it's annoying to the ear. And again, there are nuances. For example, if your sound is not a short whoosh but a long glitch sound, it's obvious, or maybe not, that the sound needs to be trimmed. You don't need 10 sounds of glitch, you choose the right moment from the sound, trim the excess, and insert the cut sound into a few frames, where it sounds appropriate and good. The same goes for all long sounds that shouldn't be interested in there entirely. I'm just talking about organic sounds that start smoothly and logically and just as smoothly. If I were to explain all these subtleties right now, the video would drag on significantly because there are a lot of nuances in editing and sound effects in particular. I've only highlighted a small part for you to understand the basics, but a bit deeper than what other video editors do on YouTube. To summarize the use of sounds, I can say this. They should definitely be used in every video because they add sense of depth, making the video feel more alive. But working with sound effects, like with all steps I've described, requires a lot of focused effort. If you dedicate enough time to it, show the determination, and engage your mind during your study and analysis, you'll definitely succeed. So thank you for watching or listening to this video until the end. I hope it was helpful for you and I've opened your eyes a bit to video editing from a different perspective and a little deeper. Share your insights from this video in the comments, give it a like, and subscribe to this channel to learn more detailed information about video editing aspects that aren't openly discussed. Also, check the description for even more useful content and see you soon.